So it seems a lot of you are wanting to know the best way, the easiest way to lose weight and whatnot. What I will do very shortly, my brother has asked for a training plan, eating plan, and he's perfect because he's only going to be able to train. He's a dad, or the second one on the way. He can only train 3 days a week doing weights, and he's a school teacher. So I'll go through exactly how I'm going to help him in terms of what I'm going to give him, and then how we're going to keep track of it. But in this video, I'll share with you the basics of what it takes to be successful, not just losing the weight, but keeping it off, because you can lose weight very quickly by willpower and cutting this and cutting that and starving yourself, and before you know it, it comes all the way back on. You've damaged your metabolism, and then you've put all the weight back on and some, as your metabolism wants to protect itself. So the best way to do it is by weighing yourself. Now, for you pedantic types, maybe not weigh yourself every day, because you've got to have a healthy relationship with weighing yourself. You're using it merely as a scientific, objective tool to be like, okay, am I on the right track with my weight loss? So I do it every day, because if I put on 200 grams, it doesn't affect me psychologically. But I know, particularly the females, they'll put on 200 grams and they'll be like, oh fuck, that's it, I'm getting fat and the world's over. No, it's like the body's 60-70% water. You have fluctuations in sodium, in your fluid. If stress, you hold on to more water. If it's that time of the month, you hold on to more water. The scales aren't completely indicative of fat loss. There's a lot into it. But as a general rule, over the course of weeks and months, the fat loss will show up on the scales, and it's a good immediate tool to see, okay, if the scales are coming down gradually, that yes, you are on the right track. Or if they're maintaining, then you're not doing enough exercise, or you're not in a deficit. Or if they start going up, obviously you're eating too much. So it is very important to weigh yourself, but just there's a caveat there. If you've got some real attachments to how much you weigh, and you've got your self-worth on that, maybe do a tape measure around the stomach, and even that can be for some. I'll do another video. So I'll be getting him to weigh himself every day, if not once a week, just to make sure that progress is being made. Now, we have to come up with a baseline of amount of calories. Now, knowing my brother, he's not going to want to weigh his food and track exactly how many calories he's eating, but we still make it work. So what I will do, and I'll show you, but you kind of give a rough estimate of, okay, have a handful of this and 2 handfuls of that, and you kind of I'll give him something. That's why I'll get him to weigh himself, and then by the measurements on the scale, and after a few weeks, I'll be able to know, okay, it's not enough calories, it's too many calories, So the thing with fat loss is, if you're not hungry, you're not losing weight, right? So hunger is your body literally telling you you're not eating enough, and you started to burn reserves, aka body fat. So a good guide is, if you're hungry, well, then you're in the right ballpark. Now, if you're starving and 2 or 3 days go by and you're hungry, but then on the 3rd day you just start binging because you're just out of control hungry, then you're not eating enough, right? You've got to eat. You've got to be in a deficit just enough so that you're hungry, but after 2 or 3 days you're not starving, because that's too much of a deficit and you're cutting too many calories, and that's a recipe for disaster. So you want to get close enough to your maintenance, but just below, so that a healthy amount of weight you should lose each week. Again, don't go too crazy with it, but I'll do it in kilos, and all you have to do is just go times it by 2.2 if you're in the pound system. But if you're really overweight and losing weight, up to 1 kilo a week initially is acceptable. As you get leaner and leaner, it drops to about 0.5 kilo a week, 0.5 kilo to 1 kilo. So anywhere in between that, just times that by 2.2, and it's about 1 to 2 pounds a week that you should lose each week. Is a good amount. It's healthy amount to lose, because then you know that it's mainly fat that you're losing and not muscle. If you start losing more than 1 kilo a week consistently, and your performance in the gym starts to go down, you're losing muscle, and your muscle, if you start losing muscle, A, you're going to look like shit, but B, your metabolism will slow down, and you don't burn as fat as much, because muscle is pretty high up there on the, I guess, one of the proponents of keeping your metabolism high is how much lean muscle you've got. So you want to hang on to that as best you can. So 0.5 kilo to 1 kilo a week loss is perfect. Then you know that the amount of calories you're eating is around the ballpark of what you should be eating, so that you can maintain performance, energy, your mood's still good, but you're able to lose fat. So you want to do it slowly. That's why these crash diets, they're rubbish, because you're not guaranteed to just lose fat. You're losing muscle, and you're losing energy, and your mood shit as well. So do it gradual, don't be in a rush, and then just start by being consistent. And as you don't have to track your calories if you don't want to, but you do need to be consistent with what you eat, so that you know, okay, I am eating too much, or I'm not eating enough, whatever the case may be. Sleep, very important. You don't sleep enough, you'll hold on to water, and it'll throw off the scales, and you're not going to be energetic enough to exercise. You won't be consistent with your exercise, and you're never going to be consistent with your results either. So sleep's very important. Hydration, most people confuse being hungry with actually just being dehydrated. If you're tired throughout the day, drink some more water. It's not always that you need to be eating food to get energy, right? It's bullshit. Drinking enough water is crucial for energy, and then you can gauge whether you're eating enough as well. And then, like I said yesterday, that compressed feeding window is very useful. I mean, you just have a 0.5 litre to 1 litre of water as soon as you wake up, then have a black coffee, and then just go the morning, see how long you go until your body's like, nah, I really need to eat now, then eat. If work doesn't let you do that, then eat as far as you can until work allows you to, fit it into your lifestyle, and then have breakfast. But if you can shift that first meal as long as you can later into the morning, it makes the rest of the day easier. And just remember that, research shows that being in a caloric deficit isn't this thing where you feel like shit and you're moody and your hormones plummet and it's the end of the world. No, it's actually the reverse. Being in a caloric deficit has been shown to elongate life. It's a longevity principle. Like, it's actually good for you. The results of fasting and doing the ketogenic diet and all these things are equal to being in a caloric deficit. It seems like the body prefers to be in a caloric deficit, and I'll give you my example. My asthma is great when I'm in a caloric deficit. That's why I'm in it, right? So don't be scared of eating a little bit less calories of what your body needs. Just remember, back in the day when we were hungry, we were much more alert and we were much more motivated to go and chase food, right? And it's the same now. Like, depriving yourself of food just a little bit, just to keep you on edge, to keep you mentally sharp, makes you more hungry for life as well, right? We don't have to go and look for food, we don't have those stresses, but we have stresses to make money and do whatever. Use that focus and that kind of purpose in your life when you are a little bit hungry, because your energy does increase when you're a little bit hungry, right? Cortisol goes up and you do feel good, right? That's why there's a sweet spot in being in a deficit. Not too much, but being hungry. Most of the MMA fighters love cutting weight because they train even more when they're a little bit deprived, because they're more hungry for it, right? Use that to your advantage so that you're a little bit more hungry for your life and chasing your goals and training harder in the gym and being a better husband, a better wife, and right? Use it. 10 minutes just goes like that, right? If you want more longer videos, I'll have to go to YouTube. Let's see what happens.